called The Wisdom, the channel dedicated to bringing you the wisdom of God so that you may skillfully live the life you are created to live. So far, we have been working through chapter 1 of Proverbs and have covered the initial definition of someone who is wise. A wise person is able to know, receive, and give wisdom. But before any of that, first and foremost, the source, the foundation, the root of all wisdom is God. So now, with the basics covered, it is officially time to start diving into the wisdom of the book of Proverbs. Are you ready? Let's go. And so, let us begin by first reading today's verse. Here it is. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching, for they are a graceful garland for your head and pendants for your neck. That's Proverbs 1, 8 through 9. Right from the start, there are a few things that we can learn from this verse. First off, nobody at first simply knows wisdom. Rather, it is something that has to first be imitated in order to be learned. Allow me to explain. The son does not yet have wisdom for himself. Rather, the verse is implying that he has to put on the wisdom of his parents. The reason is he hasn't yet acquired wisdom for himself. He has yet to have the opportunity to acquire and learn by simply living life. And so he has to put on his parents' wisdom. And that is why today's video is called The Training Wheels of the Wise. You can't learn to run before you learn how to walk, and you can't learn how to ride a bike without first using the help of training wheels. To expand on that, a child doesn't naturally know how to ride a bike. And so, with the help of training wheels, they are able to simulate what it feels like to ride a bike and naturally and gradually acquire the ability to do it on their own and eventually remove the training wheels. But here's the difference. Oftentimes, training wheels are something that are ugly and something to be ashamed of. And nobody on the playground wants to be seen using training wheels but be the cool kid and ride a bike for themselves, right? But with wisdom, it's entirely different. Rather, it is described as being a graceful garland for your head and a pendant around your neck. It's something beautiful, something to be proud of. Another detail that we can get from this verse is that wisdom, these training wheels of the wise, must be put on daily. Just as you put clothes on every single morning, you must put on this graceful garland and pendant around your neck on a daily basis. Imagine one day going out, not knowing how to ride a bike, but you got on that bike without training wheels and you took off. It simply wouldn't work. You'd simply fall over. And so, the training wheels of the wise must be put on often and regularly so that you may learn and acquire wisdom until it becomes second nature to you. So the question for today is, how can you do that? Let's find out. A great and probably the best way to grow in wisdom and put on those training wheels of the wise is to find yourself a mentor. A mentor is someone who is far ahead of you in the journey of wisdom and of life, and is somebody who would be able to lead you and disciple you in the right direction. This would be a relationship that would be close and personal and would require a lot of vulnerability and humility on your part. It would be a relationship that you would meet on a bi-weekly, if not weekly, basis. Think of this as being very similar to the Iron Sharpens Iron program that we spoke about in the previous video, but instead of it being a two-way street, they're going to be exclusively pouring into you and teaching you, not you pouring into them. This requires that you walk in humility, submitting to what they say and how they say it. This can be anyone in your life that is older than you and clearly shows the fruit of wisdom in their life. Not only that, but you have to desire your life to look like theirs. Now here's the thing. This mentorship doesn't happen by accident. Rather, it's gonna require you going out and intentionally asking somebody to mentor you. That's daunting, I know. But believe me, there is no greater compliment that somebody can receive than for them to be asked to be a mentor. And with that, if you truly desire to be wise, find yourself a mentor, submit to their wisdom and their teachings, and learn the ways of the wise. As we discussed just a few minutes ago, learning wisdom requires putting it on often and consistently. Sadly, as human beings, we have a tendency to leak the knowledge that we are trying so hard to acquire, especially in the sense of wisdom and life application. And so we must be reminded often and consistently over and over and over again until it becomes a part of us. Therefore, an essential to learning wisdom and metaphorically putting on that graceful garland and pendant is by reading the book of Proverbs on a daily basis. Each morning, prime yourself and your mind with the book of Proverbs and with the wisdom that it has to offer, so that you can go into your day ready and wearing that graceful garland and pendant, so to be able to learn it and apply it until it naturally becomes a part of you. Now here's a tip. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, and a typical month is about 31 days, am I right? And so, a really great way of putting on wisdom on a daily basis is by making a morning habit of simply reading a single chapter a day. If you read one chapter every single morning, you'll get through it in roughly a month. And then once the new month starts, you can start reading it all over again. This is fantastic because it is a habit that will consistently and regularly put on that wisdom so that you can be ready for whatever life has to throw at you. Using this method, you will be intentionally and consistently applying wisdom to yourself for your daily life. And so, if you desire to learn wisdom, you must start by first putting it on a daily basis. You can't learn to run without first learning how to walk, and you can't ride a bike without first starting with training wheels. And so, put on the training wheels of the wise so that you may learn wisdom from the very foundations until you make it your own. And that's all for today. I hope you learned something. If you did, please hit that subscribe button below. And don't forget, Called to Wisdom provides free devotionals for the growing Christian. You can find it at calledtowisdom.com. Until next time, go everyone and live wisely.